What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm back in another video. This time once again, we're going to be talking about LeBron James. And this time LeBron isn't making headlines for his on-the-court play, as former NBA player Rasheed Wallace has taken some pretty big jabs at LeBron, his overall play, as well as his basketball legacy. In these comments you can see on the screen right now, basically imply LeBron wouldn't be as good in his era as he is in this era. And there's a lot of ways you can go with this, but first up, let's establish who Rasheed Wallace is and when he played. If you guys didn't know, he was drafted in 1995 out of UNC, played 8 years in Portland, and 6 years in Detroit, also 1 year in New York, as well as Boston. In that time, he was a 4-time All-Star, a 1-time NBA champion, and a legendary trash talker.
Kwame was sensational last night on the offensive glass, and he worked his tail off at both ends of the floor.
And Rasheed's overall career went from 96 to 2013. Now you may be asking yourself, Rasheed Wallace, he played in the same time as LeBron James. And yes, you would be correct, which makes his quote and his statement even that more odd. But I think that statement stems from a larger problem with NBA fans as well as former players, and that is completely disregarding other eras that are different from your own. And these players as well as fans, they will disrespect their own era and players who played alongside them if they can rationalize their point of view and their extreme take. Now first up in this video, let's very quickly debunk his quote and his overall statement. So LeBron and Rasheed in their careers, they overlapped for 10 seasons, from 04 to 2013. In that time LeBron averaged 27, 7, and 7 on 49, 34, and 75 splits. He was a 4-time MVP, a 9-time All-Star, 5-time All-Defensive, and a 2-time Finals MVP. That 10-year period on its own is a first ballot Hall of Famer and arguably a top 5 player of all time. Now if you wanted to give Rasheed the benefit of the doubt, let's say Rasheed Wallace's quote-unquote era was not the 2010s. So looking at LeBron's playoff stats during this time period, he once again had impressive numbers in Rasheed's own era, averaging 29, 8, and 7 on 46, 32, and 74 splits. And during this time period in the playoffs, in 09, he averaged 35 a game, 06, 30.8, and 2010, 29 a game. So scoring the ball, racking up assists, grabbing boards, LeBron had no problem doing that before the 2010s truly started. And even going further than this, you can look at LeBron's head-to-head stats versus Rasheed in the playoffs. They met 4 times, and in those matchups, LeBron averaged 27, 9, and 7 on 46, 27, and 75 splits. In his 2 notable games, in 07, he had a 48-point explosion, scoring the last 25 points for the Cavaliers, including the game-winning layup. In 09, he had 36, 13, and 8 in the game the Cavaliers swept the Pistons 4-0. And head-to-head versus Rasheed, LeBron scored over 30 points 9 different times. But all those stats, they are great, they're very informative, but they're not the larger point of this video. The larger point of this video has to do with eras. And this subject can be pretty touchy, as some NBA fans, they claim their own era, whether that be the 80s, the 2000s, the 2010s, that is their era, and they'll defend it to the death. Now me myself, I'm not the biggest fan of this era in the 2020s, but still I respect it and acknowledge the players, they're all-time greats. And I think a very small group of NBA fans, as well as former players, have a hard time giving this era credit. And when you see comments like this from Rasheed Wallace, they really do make you scratch your head. I mean, saying LeBron James couldn't play in that era, do you really grasp what he's saying? All the players drafted in his time period, like D. Wade, Carmelo, Chris Bosh, Dwight Howard, CP3, Kevin Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Curry, all players drafted before the 2010s, Rasheed Wallace effectively saying those players couldn't play in his own era, the 2000s and the late 1990s. Which again is pretty foolish, as all those players are all-time great legends who will be great in any era. And one more thing about eras, I hate the constant disrespect from older NBA fans as well as younger NBA fans in the modern NBA. And I think this quote by Rasheed is basically the plumber argument kind of inverse to hate on LeBron. And if you're not familiar, the plumber argument is very popular on social media where NBA fans say former great players wouldn't be great in this era because they weren't athletic, they didn't play other great legends, and just all types of nonsense to downplay those players and how great they were. I think that type of mindset is equally as bad as what Rasheed Wallace said about LeBron. And that right there is the biggest point of this video, and my overall goal, and my main message. Great NBA players, regardless of era, they were great for a reason. They transcended the sport, they were amazing athletes, they could shoot the ball, they were great passers, great scorers, Whatever it may be, they were great for a reason in their own era. And as a rule of thumb, any great NBA player will be great in any era. That is the easiest way you can look at it, and probably the best way you can look at it, as once again, they were great for a reason, they were great players, regardless of their era. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wasn't going to cover this topic, but I thought Rasheed Wallace's quotes gave me an opportunity to focus on a bigger issue, that being the constant disrespect between eras from NBA fans as well as former players. So as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time.